Ladies and gentlemen, impeachment proceedings have begun. I repeat, impeachment proceedings have begun. The Democratic Party is going to impeach President Trump the House Democrats are going to impeach President Trump for record low unemployment, the beginning of peace between North and South Korea, signing prison reform legislation, around 500,000 new manufacturing jobs, record low Black and Latino unemployment. What else? 1 million more job openings than workers to fill them. We must stop this orange monster. Why do you think? Washington Post, the impeachment inquiry Trump feared is already here. Vice. Formal impeachment proceedings have begun. Here's what that really means. So Gerald Nadler, this is a formal proceeding, the Nadler one said, and we will at this conclusion, hopefully by the end of the year, vote articles of impeachment to the House floor, or we won't. That's a decision that we'll have to make. Wow, that is really, really intimidating. You better watch out, or else I'm going to do something really bad, or I won't. You just watch out. But that's exactly the process we're in right now. So they're almost certainly going to impeach Trump on some kind of fabricated obstruction of justice allegation, and John Durham is investigating, and now we find out the 302s from Bruce Orr that you had Justice Department and State Department officials who served as back channels and intermediaries between Obama's administration, President Obama's administration, and corrupt FBI officials, and we learned a whole lot yesterday. But here's what this means, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I said it 2 minutes in. Because soon you're going to see articles and op-eds in the New York Times and the Washington Post and other publications, Slate, Daily Beast, and you're going to see public Vice, you're going to see articles saying, yeah, you know what, I said it. Hillary Clinton, we need her. We need Clinton to run again. She's going to run again, and the impeachment proceedings are just going to coincide, or I should say the impeachment vote is going to coincide. What a coinkydink. Totally not planned. It's a pure coincidence. They're going to coincide with what I've been saying since 2017 in the Huffington Post. Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. I predicted the 2020 election in 2017. The article is going to be below in the pinned comment. And it's further down in the pinned comment, but they're going to impeach Trump right as Clinton comes into and says, well, you know what, Biden, Willie Brown's former best friend with benefits, Beto, mi nombre es Beto, the woman who failed her DNA test, the entire cast of characters that have zero chance at raising $140 million. Zero chance. Okay, look. The impeachment is part of Clinton 2020. Special counsel was part of Clinton 2020. The insurance policy that Peter Strzok talked about was all part of this. Was it an actual letter? Was it an actual phone call? Did the Golden Moo call FBI agents? No. Did Madam Cyberhack speak to Peter Strzok? No, that's not the way they run things. That's not the way... President Obama didn't tell the IRS to go ahead and target conservative groups. It just miraculously happens. Okay? Just like President Obama didn't know that Hillary Clinton was using servers that were unencrypted for the first 3 months, running on Microsoft Exchange software that were transferring top secret and special access and classified emails and intelligence from the U.S. government onto servers outside of the United States government. That just happened. It was a coincidence, and gosh, golly gee, these things just happen. Formal impeachment proceedings have begun. Here's what that means. All of this is, they're now trying to, once they have impeachment proceedings, and by the way, another reason, in addition to Greta Van Susteren and Steve Bannon and Willie Brown, as former San Francisco mayor, who all state that the current field of Democrats has zero chance against Trump, and if you look at them, none of them can even raise enough money in Florida to be competitive. Clinton raised $140 million. She's going to enter the race in Florida and lost to Trump, who raised only $6.6 million in Florida and still won the state. She's going to enter the race. It takes a second to fill out paperwork. Almost certainly her camp. There is no DNC. There's no Democratic Party. Get that in your mind. There is no Democratic Party. Stop it. Stop saying, well, the Democrats, well, how could she run if she's a criminal? Everyone becomes Harry Carey. But she didn't even enter the debates. How could she run? She hasn't even... Does she have the paperwork? The paperwork is probably written by the Clinton team in some manner. There was a DNC agreement with Clinton where they would have joint fundraising, where she actually took all the money from down-ticket Democrats, like $80+ million, just funneled right into Clinton's campaign. Donna Brazile wrote about this in Politico. And now they're impeaching Trump, or they're going to try to impeach Trump in the House. The Senate will, Dikembe Mutombo will block it and will rally around the president, and they will fail at that as well. But they need buzz. What are they going to run on? Medicare for all? They don't want that. They're deceiving their voters. Clinton already said no. Okay? Vermont doesn't have Medicare for all. Why isn't there a state in the country that has Medicare for all? The Mercatus study said you had to double to triple tax collection, but even if, let's say it's feasible, why haven't they voted on it in the House? Because they're not going to. They're never going to, ever. The progressive base or group or faction within the Democratic Party is relatively small and not very powerful at all, because they get crushed all the time and then simply vote and fall in line. Bernie Sanders was cheated, then they blamed Russia for informing the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and Bernie Sanders himself fomented the same myth. Now you have, if you don't believe me, you think I'm full of hot air, and oh my God, why do you have to even talk about this? August 8th, 2019, Hillary wades into impeachment in Watergate interview. Okay? Clinton drew upon her time as a young House committee staffer in an hour-long sit-down. Okay, this is a person who committed numerous crimes under the Espionage Act, under RICO statutes. This is you're talking about a walking criminal who will run again, who in both rhetoric and deed has done things more offensive, egregious than President Trump ever has. But they're still going to impeach President Trump, very likely on some kind of trumped-up, fabricated charge regarding obstruction of an unlawful probe to begin with. When people say, nothing was unlawful. Yeah, everything was unlawful. James Comey, by the Inspector General, stated he committed crimes. Andrew McCabe was under criminal investigation for lying 3 times under oath. James Baker is under criminal investigation for leaking information to the media. There's another FBI official, Sarah Carter, talks about him, who was also accepting money and gifts from media and leaking information. So the FBI had, the extension of the FBI was the media, the extension of the Democratic Party was the FBI under Comey. Why is this? By the way, check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. I tell you what you should tell other people if they dare call you racist for voting for Trump. And then just leave the conversation. Or better not to engage at all, but if you have to engage, I explain what I think should be the rebuttal. That's in H.A. Goodman's other channel. But the audacity, Hillary wades into impeachment in Watergate interview. This is Politico, just the other day. Hillary Clinton has a message for lawmakers contemplating impeachment. Avoid leaks. She told people to avoid leaks. Okay, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So she's now weighing in as this, saintly wise, nonpartisan figure. Yeah, right. And Politico is just, that's an article. Okay? All of this is to pave the way. There's really nothing they can impeach him on. There's really nothing. They want to get Don McGahn. They want to get Hope Hicks again. They want to just relitigate and relive all the failed propaganda narratives. It doesn't really matter what's right or wrong because they're creating their own reality. So, like, I suggest everyone from here on out until the 2020 election, until November of 2020, stop thinking of things from a rational perspective. Stop thinking of things from a logical perspective, okay? This has nothing to do with logic or reason. This has to do with, well, they have the House now, and so they're just going to, they have the media, they still have corrupt intelligence officials here and there, so they're just going to milk whatever they can to make everything morally relative. This is this is formal impeachment proceedings. Okay. I talked the other day about how they're going to time her announcement with the vote. And I don't see... they're almost certainly going to impeach President Trump in the House. For what? Who knows? Who knows? They might try to, just say, look, he obstructed justice and... we learned from the Mueller probe he obstructed justice, and it really doesn't matter if it makes any sense because the Senate is not going to convict President Trump. He's still going to be president. They're going to try to say that he foments horrible actions and atrocities, and I explain on H.A. Goodman's other channels a bunch of nonsense. Who knows how they're going to justify impeachment. One thing we do know, however, is that it's going to be nonsense. Complete and utter garbage and nonsense. But again, they don't care. They don't care if there have already been articles of impeachment. They haven't voted, but each subsequent attempt, more and more Democrats vote for impeachment. By the end of the impeachment inquiry, which will just happen to coincide with Clinton entering the race, they will then say, okay, we're going to impeach this person, and look who we have to save us, Clinton. And everyone will say, you know what, we need to defeat this person, and then they'll run on he's been impeached in the House. And it doesn't matter the merits of the argument, as long as they can simply fall back. Well, they voted to impeach the president. Do you want an impeached president? And you'll have Andrew Johnson, and then Bill Clinton, and then Trump. For no reason at all. For absolutely no reason at all. And it's going to hurt them in 2020 in Congress, which is hilarious. The whole thing, look. They have no reason to impeach President Trump. They don't need a reason. All they need to do is create their own reality, which they already have. So this gives them cover to investigate more. They also can go to judges and say, look, there are impeachment proceedings right now, Judge. We need Don McGahn. We need Hope Hicks. We need to subpoena his financial records. And then one representative, we can't let him walk the earth without that stain. What? Meaning they just want to impeach him simply to hurt him. Okay? Again, stop thinking logically and rationally. The Democrats are like a wounded creature in a corner. And they're going to scratch and claw. They're going to do anything possible because they need to make everything morally relative. Because Clinton is running again. She's going to be the DNC nominee. It's going to be... 2016 is going to be just like... 2020 is going to be just like 2016, but even more divisive, even more unhealthy, with even worse rhetoric. If they called Trump supporters deplorable, well, then they're going to up the ante and they're going to call everyone racist and all that stuff. And I explain in H.A. Goodman's other channel how you should respond, or how I would respond. They're waiting. They've waited this long. Why do you think they've waited this long? If it was truly about obstruction, they could have, voted to impeach him right after the Mueller probe. That was when the obstruction issue, which is nonsense. Trump has a right to fire Comey. Comey actually was accused of committing crimes. So, and in addition to that, he was, the first IG report stated that he was insubordinate. So, I mean, then it's like conduct this. By that standard, Loretta Lynch calling it a matter, or telling James Comey to call it a matter, would be obstruction of justice. That's by the standard they judged Trump. If they were to utilize that against the Clinton campaign, Clinton called it a security review. That was not a even Comey himself said, "Hey, we're not the Federal Bureau of Reviews. We're the Federal Bureau of Investigation," as he was covering up and committing crimes on his own. Then you have, you have State Department officials who are working alongside. You talk about obstruction. Well, this would be U.S. Code, the 371 statute. You have people, even at the State Department and Justice Department, working with Glenn Simpson. We learned that from the FBI 302s. So, it's like, ladies and gentlemen, this is not independent. The Democratic Party doesn't work without a long-term strategy that benefits Bill and Hillary. That's not the way they work. There is no Democratic Party. When President Obama won, the Democratic Party ceased to exist because the Clintons realized, hey, we're never, ever going to win in a fair primary. So Hillary, basically, the golden moon, who said, I can't levitate above the DNC if it's a fair primary. So what they did was, they didn't expect Bernie Sanders to do so well in 2016. He could have won. In a fair primary, he would have won. But they made it so he would not win. That's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. It was a rigged primary. They cheated a candidate. They lied to voters. And so their charade was exposed by Bernie Sanders actually coming close, which he would have won. The guy went from, when I was talking about Bernie Sanders winning the Democratic primary, when he was at like 4% in the polls, he went to like the same number. He tied, and in one poll surpassed, or a couple polls surpassed Clinton. The guy turned out to be engaged in cowardly acts, fomenting the same myth that said that Bernie Sanders, that Russia informed the country. Russia informed the country that he was cheated. Okay? Didn't fight. The guy doesn't know how to fight. He's like, we're going to fight the 1%. You can't even fight the Democratic Party or implement Medicare for all in Vermont. How are you going to fight? You're not fighting. You're a human doormat for Clinton. So her stiletto heels are just digging into your brain. And your response is, how can I help you make sure that your shoes are clean as you dig your heels into my cranium? And by the way, the Russians informed the country I was cheated, and forget about that. And to Democrats, that never happened. Yet the Russians interfered by hacking the DNC. Well, what did the DNC email show? Oh, nothing. So you're saying that Bernie was cheated? No, he wasn't. He was given every chance. So what was wrong with the DNC emails? Why did Debbie Wasserman Schultz, why was she forced to resign? I don't care. They only want, look, they don't care about actual reality. They care about the reality they create. So they're going to impeach Trump based on a probe that they fabricated, a probe that I write about in the Federalist with numerous articles below. And it's going to coincide with Clinton running. This will bolster the Clinton campaign because they can always run. Do you want to vote for an impeached president? then that'll give President Trump even more incentive. And this is hilarious too, because it'll give the Republicans even more incentive to find out and to charge people who were part of this fabricated Russia hoax. The funny thing is, though, the Democratic Party has nothing to lose. It's a political machine tied directly to Bill and Hillary, so they have nothing to lose anymore. There is no long-term strategy. They don't have a long-term strategy. Their strategy is only, what can we do to get Hillary in office? That's it. Okay, Clinton is more relevant now than she was even in 2016. And she's running again. They're going to impeach Trump. You're going to time it for Hillary to just, it's simple paperwork you fill out. Simple paperwork. It's not a big deal. How could she run? Does she have to jump through fiery hoops? Does she have to, I don't know, complete the Buds training course to become a Navy SEAL? How's she going to run?
It's not that big of a deal.
Does she have to go to the NFL Combine and bench 225 30 times?
You fill out paper. It takes 2 seconds.
It's probably already filled out. It's just for her to sign. Why wouldn't she run? Because you don't think it's good?
Do you think she cares about you or me?
Anyway, give me your thoughts below. They're going to impeach President Trump. The impeachment proceedings have begun. This helps them continue with their, we have to investigate this. And meanwhile, there's no reason to investigate this, but they're going to investigate. This helps them when they when they go to courts and they go to judges and they say, well, we have impeachment proceedings. Well, we need this information. Then the judges are more inclined to give them what they want. It ain't going to work, but it's going to be, it's going to help Clinton come into the mix. Look, ask yourself this. What do H.A. Goodman, Greta Van Susteren, just the other day on Sky News Australia, a journalist was saying that he imagines Clinton coming into the race, and Steve Bannon all have in common. We're all saying that Clinton is going to go into the race, and I've been saying that since 2017. Give me your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be 2016 on steroids 2020. Give me your thoughts. If you want to support my voice long-term, my Patreon is in the pinned comment. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Far more amusing, uncensored, unfiltered, and I explain what you should tell people who call you racist for voting for Trump. Thank you so very much.